Shalom. All praise is due to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachak Kwadash. Double honors to the elect apostle bishops, elders at Great Millstone and Ruel. Shalom to elect Akadir, works sincerity and truth, and not for vain glory in season out of season. All right, I just want to go over this. I just want to bring a precept out for this scripture right here in Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. And we're going to go all the way down to the 68th verse. Okay. All right. Okay. It says, and the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Okay, so that's a prophecy to that's a prophecy that has been fulfilled. Okay. All right. And the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt. Egypt represents America, because the children of Israel, the sons and daughters of Israel, were in slavery in Egypt, just like we're in slavery here in America. Okay, you so-called Negroes, okay, you West Indians and Haitians, you Native Americans, and you Latinos. The so-called black man was brought over here in cargo slave ships. So-called black woman was brought over here in cargo slave ships. Okay, this is the spiritual Egypt, as it says in Revelation, the 11th chapter, in the 8th verse. Okay, this is a spiritual Egypt. It's not the ancient Egypt. So this is not talking about ancient Egypt. This is talking about the spiritual Egypt, which is America. And the 12 tribes are truly indeed slaves here in America. Okay, North, South, and Central America. All right. It says, and Yahweh, the Lord, shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, cargo slave ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, which is the so-called white man, for bondmen and bondwomen, slaves, slave men and slave women, and no man shall buy you. Meaning nobody was going to get us out of the slavery that happened, okay, to you so-called Negroes, okay, you so-called West Indians, you so-called Haitians, you Native Americans. When the so-called white man came over here to the Americas, you Latinos, okay, North, South, and Central America, you were put in slavery by the so-called white man, okay? And nobody was going to come and deliver us out of that slavery. Okay, that's what it means when it says, and no man shall buy you. Nobody was going to come, no other Israelite, no other heathen nation was going to come and get us out of slavery. Okay. Now there is a precept to this. Okay. So let's go to it. It's Isaiah, the 22nd chapter and the 18th verse. Remember, the Apostle Tahar brought this out. Okay. All right. Let's go up here. Isaiah, 22nd chapter and the 18th verse. Okay. Isaiah 22 and 18. All right. It says, he shall surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. But now it says, he shall surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball. So, you know, when you have a ball in the water, you know, the ball tosses and turns in the water. So the ball represents what? Slave ships. Okay. Slave ships. That's what the ball represents. Because when a ship is in the sea, what does it do? It rocks back and forth. You know, even when a storm comes, what happened? The ship is violently turned. It's rocking back and forth, side to side, just like a ball. Okay? So it's talking about the slave ships. Okay? And then may I also mention too that the Native Americans and the Latinos were put in cargo slave ships and brought over to Europe, by the way. Okay? You know? All right? So that's why the scriptures say that we were oppressed together. You know? The children of Judah and the children of Israel, saying it verbatim, were oppressed together. You know? So Native Americans and Latino Indians were what? They were brought in slavery in cargo slave ships and brought over to Europe. Okay? So it just wasn't so-called Negroes, West Indian, and Haitians. It was Latinos and Native Americans as well. Okay? All right? He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball in a large country. That large country is America. Okay? That's what the large country represents. America. There shalt thou die. And that's surely what happened, man. You know, we were tortured. We were murdered. You know, you so-called Negroes, when you came over here, you so-called West Indians, you so-called Haitians, you know, you brought over to the Caribbean, Haiti, the various Jamaica, Barbados, Bahamas, you know, all the various West Indian islands. Okay. You were even brought over to Brazil. You know, you brought over different parts in Central and South America. You were brought over there into Mexico. I'm talking about you so-called Negroes, man, you know, to serve slavery. Okay. But this is talking about America here. You know, you were worked to death by the so-called white man on them cotton fields, tobacco fields. You see what I'm saying? You know, you will work till you drop dead, you know. It says, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house. You know, so that's just a precept to it, to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 68th verse. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball in a large country. That ball represents the slave ships. That large country is talking about America. You know, so that's just a precept, you know, to bring out as well. You know, when you go into Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter and the 68th verse. Okay. This is the spiritual Egypt. I mean, look at the dollar bill. They got the pyramid, man. The all-seeing eye. That goes back into Egypt. They got the obelisk in Washington, D.C. That goes back into Egypt. They got Cleopatra's Needle down there in New York and Central Park. That goes back into Egypt. Okay? You know, and so many other things, you know, which goes back into Egypt. Okay? So America is that spiritual Egypt that the sons and daughters of Israel serve slavery in the ancient Egypt, and they serve in slavery in the spiritual Egypt, which is America. Okay. All right. A Greek word, Egypt, is a Greek word meaning Egyptos, which means bondage. And who was in bondage here in America? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So it's just a precept, you know. But I hope you've been edified. And with that, shalom.